It's morning day 3, and I've been trying to wake up every morning around 7 to 7:30 and then start doing some work by 8 o'clock in terms of studying, but it's starting to get harder and harder, and I really don't know how sustainable this is unless I start going to bed much earlier. So for anyone who's wondering what our class looks like, we have a flipped classroom. What that means is that we have to do all of the pre-work or pre-learning the day before on our own. So if we have a lesson on chromosomes on Tuesday, that means on Monday night, I have to do all of the reading and self-teach myself everything on that content about chromosomes. And then on Tuesday, when we show up for Zoom class, what we do is more of an application-based learning. So we will do a team learning exercise or some type of lab work or an activity that will allow you to basically interact with the information that you have learned. But in class, we don't do the primary learning. We don't see the information for the first time. It's kind of more application. So this is what we do in a flipped classroom. So I'm ready here. We're about to start class in like 10 minutes, and I just rushed to make some food because I haven't eaten anything yet. And this is my current setup, and I'm realizing that everything around the rest of the house is getting super messy because I literally don't have time to like clean things as I'm going because I need to save that time to study. So I feel like the weekend is just going to be like a bunch of cleaning throughout the apartment, because the more cluttered it gets, the more it makes it difficult for me to like study because it's so cluttered and I can't keep my mind clear. Okay, so we just finished biochemistry and genetics class, and honestly, it's starting to feel super overwhelming. We did some practice boards questions, and literally, I'm realizing things that I read on Monday. Right now is Wednesday. Things that I read on Monday and studied on Monday, I can't even remember that well, some of those things. So, and my exam is already next week. In 1 week, I have a midterm exam. So, I'm just how to learn and relearn and remember all of these things and keep them straight, because honestly it really feels like an entire semester of content that I'm expected to learn and retain in 1 week. Like that's what it feels like. Alright, so we're in a short break from histology, and in the beginning of class, one of the professors kind of prefaced, and he started off saying that, our curriculum is different this year than it was last year because of COVID. It's been condensed, and he said it's day 3 of classes, and he said at this point, 3 days of our class or our content is equivalent to 2 weeks of work from previous years. So that means that in 3 days, we have consumed 2 weeks of content from the normal curriculum. That's crazy. I mean, I don't even know what to say, but I don't know, are any of you guys out there, like, has your curriculum changed from because of COVID, and what is it like? Or yeah, it's crunch time. Day 4, it is 7:30 a.m. and I'm doing my 30 minutes of just wake up time. I didn't wrap up the day yesterday because it just became super overwhelming and super packed. But basically, I just am starting to feel this sense of like being behind, not being able to retain the information, and feeling like I'm behind other people. So I'm really trying not to compare myself, and I have to say I'm really grateful for my class and for the kind of the values instilled by my institution. I just feel like all of my classmates have been extremely helpful, supportive, creating study guides for each other, sharing things, organizing things, and sharing these resources with everybody else. So it's, in that sense, everything has been absolutely great, and the atmosphere has been great, and everybody's super helpful. Also, one of the things I try to do to prevent myself from fatiguing or not retaining information is I try to do the thing that I dislike the most or that I'm not good at the most the first thing in the morning. So for example, biochemistry is for some reason difficult for me, and I never really enjoyed it, especially in undergrad. So when I wake up, the first thing I do is my biochemistry module. Okay, I've got a serious question for you. Do you think that if I eat trail mix that says high energy on it, that I will be able to get through day 4 of medical school? we had a patient visit that was two patients that have PKU, phenylketonuria, and it was basically parents with children who had the disease, and they just went through and talked a lot about their life and how they found out about their diagnosis and how they live day to day, which was super, super interesting to get to hear, somebody's firsthand perspective and experience and how they have to live. And after that, we finished, and for some reason I started mixing up my time zones, and I thought I had only 1 hour until histology, and I hadn't finished my pre-work, so I was basically rushing, like eating and at the same time trying to read and do my pre-work. And I log on to Zoom, and I'm on there, and there's like 5 minutes before class start, and I realize that nobody else is logging on, so I'm like, what the heck, where is everybody? And then I realized that we still have another hour until class starts. Okay, we just finished lectures of day 4, and we just received an email about our exam next week. So we will have had 7 total lectures, and we already have our first exam. It is going to be 2.5 hours is what they said, and 80 questions are going to be NBME style, so like board style, and then 20 questions will be purely on Blackboard, just written by the course. So this is going to be interesting. I have never felt so nervous so quickly, and so just like I feel like I know a lot of things, but then there are also so many other things that I do not know. So I definitely don't feel prepared yet, because I'm literally just inhaling everything at the speed of light. It's crazy. I'm going to spend the weekend basically prepping for my midterm exam, because as it turns out, we have both biochemistry midterm and our histology midterm on the same day. And our histology exam is only 1 hour. So we will see how that goes. My weekend is going to be great. I feel like now every time you guys see me, I'm just inside my room or in front of a computer. So I figured I would just at least show you some variety, although my car isn't that different either. I'm gonna go for about a 30-minute walk or just a drive to like revive myself, and then I'm gonna come back and start doing my pre-work for biochemistry. I'm gonna try and knock it out tonight, but there's 2 modules. And try and knock it out tonight so that tomorrow morning before classes I can knock out histology. And tomorrow's Friday, so I'm so excited for the end of class tomorrow. Like, I'm not even gonna study afterwards. I am just going to end class and then enjoy the rest of my Friday evening, because Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are going to be crunch, study like crazy for these midterms. It is finally Friday, day 5. My first 5 days almost over, of medical school classes, and I keep wearing the same thing because I'm just at home, so might as well conserve clothing, I guess. And yeah, it's the last day. So we're on a short break in histology, and I was not able to finish my pre-work for histology today because it was over I think it was over 60 slides, probably closer to 80 slides, and it just took a long time, and it's all about cartilage and bones, which is something that I have like no background knowledge in, so it's even harder to intake for the first time. And so as we're going through exercises right now, I'm a little bit lost, but class definitely helps to clarify my understanding and visualize things a little bit better. But I'm so excited for this class to be over, and I'm going to spend the rest of this Friday night not doing anything productive, just trying to recuperate my brain. And just like that, we are done. The end of day 5 of lectures is over, and I am going to actually head out and meet up with another medical student. We're going to have a nice socially distanced coffee, and I'm not going to do anything for the rest of tonight besides enjoy myself and detox and just relax. But I really quickly wanted to show you guys all of the content that we have gone through in 5 days, the first 5 days of medical school. And you probably won't be able to understand like how much information it is, because there's so much more that goes into it. But let's take a quick look at the schedule. Alright, so I just wanted to show you. So on Monday, basically in the mornings, what we have is biochemistry. So we have the mornings of biochemistry and genetics, and then we have the evenings as histology, or the afternoons, I guess. So you can see in Monday, we have already gone through genome structure, chromosome segregation, plasma membrane, cytoskeleton, organelles, nucleotide synthesis, cell nucleus and cell cycle, DNA structure and replication, epithelial tissues, DNA repair, recombination, transcription, also connective tissue, adipose tissue, RNA processing function, all of the amino acid synthesis and metabolism, cartilage, and bone. So all of this, it doesn't seem like that much information, but it is an extremely huge amount of information over the span of 5 days. Okay, it is Sunday. On Wednesday, I have my first biochemistry midterm. I'm going to try to get through all Boards and Beyond videos and take some notes. Then I'm going to try and go back through the modules, which are pretty detailed. And then I'm going to try and go through a study guide that was created by students from past years. So hopefully I can get through all of that. Plus, I still have to learn new content for Monday and Tuesday that will also be on our exam on Wednesday. Okay, so the first step here is I'm getting ready to start my Boards and Beyond review, and what I've done is I printed out the table of contents for all of the things that I need to review. So we start with genetics, cell biology, and biochemistry for my biochemistry class, and what I've done is I've looked at the table of contents, decided which videos I need to cover, so I'm going to go through and cover all of these and watch the Boards and Beyond videos, and while I'm doing that, I'll also be looking at the Boards and Beyond slides, and we'll go from there. We'll see how much time it takes me. I'm going to try and watch it on double speed. It looks like the first video, which is just on genetic principles, is like 24 minutes. If I double speed, I could get it down to like 10, 12 minutes. So hopefully I can get through a lot of these today. Yeah. The majority of my class, what we're experiencing right now is not really knowing what to expect, but also not really having enough time to adjust in terms of what resources we should be using. We've only had lecture for 5 days and we already expected to take an exam, so it's really hard and to figure out just what works. You know, for some people flashcards work, but when you don't have even the time to like start creating them, it's difficult. And so we're kind of all just going in a little bit blind. But now my histology exam and my biochem exam, they both used to be on Wednesday, but thankfully the histology professors are super kind and realized that we would just burn out if we had both exams, so they decided to give us a window where we can take our exam anytime between Wednesday to Sunday. So I'm going to focus hardcore on biochemistry right now and worry about histology later. Plus I have 2 presentations due this week, one in histology and one in biochem. So that's that. So here's the problem. I know what I don't know. So I know the concepts that I struggle with and I don't understand. And it would be wise of me to tackle those concepts now and like make sure I solidify them in my brain. But because I don't know them, I don't like them. Therefore, I try to avoid them. So it's this bad cycle of I know what I don't know, and I will continue to not know because I don't want to know. I constantly feel like everybody else knows so many other things and I'm always behind. So I'm just trying to take a step back and tell myself I work on my own timeline and not to compare myself to other people or what's going on. And yeah, just trying to find a good balance right now so I can stay sane and not really overdo it. But I'm really struggling with purine and pyrimidine synthesis. It's just like memorizing these random pathways is so frustrating because to me they're so random. And I like being able to see things and touch things, and I just can't really do that here. So 2 hours later, I have a slightly better understanding of purine pyrimidine synthesis and all of the drug targets associated with it. And this is the product of my studying. Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday. I've woken up at 6 a.m. so I can start studying before my classes start today because I feel like I'm a little bit behind in terms of what I would like to have gotten accomplished for my biochem review. So I'm trying to catch up, and basically today in biochem class we have a review for the entire class, which is good, no new content. And for histology we have new content, but as well we have a midterm review. So we'll see how those go and try and gauge where I'm at and how I'm going to perform. Hey guys, so we just finished biochemistry. So today has been an intense day, Tuesday. I woke up at 6 o'clock. From 6 until 10 o'clock I studied for biochemistry and genetics. Then I had 3 hours of histology, then a 1 hour break, then an hour and a half of histology review for our midterm, then 3 hours of biochemistry and genetics, and then now I'm here. I'm going to take 1 hour to just relax, take a break, And then I have to restart my biochemistry studying because my midterm is tomorrow and I still have a lot of content to get through that I really need to refresh because I don't remember that well. We have to memorize so many things. It is insane. And I know this is so random, but it helps me contextualize and prime my brain with something that I actually know, that it's real words. And for example, relax people. So when you tell the relax people, you take a little break and you tell them to eat 6 mega pancakes when you're relaxing. So it's just random things that help me remember drugs and random cycles and coming up with funny sayings that will prime things in your brain instead of just random INP, adenylosuccinate, blah blah blah. Okay guys, so here's another example. You're gonna think this is funny or ridiculous, but this helps me remember. So we have three disorders. We have trisomy 21, 18, and 13. And 21 is Down, 18 is Edwards syndrome, and 13 is Patau syndrome. And I have a hard time, of course I know Down, but I have a hard time remembering Edward and Patau, so the way I remember this is 21, 18, 13. If you're 21 years old, 18, or 13 years old, you shouldn't be eating poop. So I just say don't eat poop. And that's how I remember things. Guys, I totally don't remember my amino acids, so I had to pull out my MCAT preparation binder, and I gotta tell you, this thing comes in clutch when you need it. So the thing is that I've been out of undergrad for a while and I haven't taken the MCAT or those classes, those relevant classes, for 3-4 years, maybe 5 years. So it's hard for me to remember a lot of these things, but I feel like my classmates that just came out of undergrad and just took the MCAT have like a really good head start, especially when it comes to biochem, because they remember all of these things, like all of the amino acids and competitive inhibitors and whatnot. And I'm just like, I don't know, it's been decades since I learned this stuff. I think I'm gonna call it a night. It's 10:30. And I still have a lot to cover, actually, like translation and a bunch of other stuff that my brain doesn't function anymore past 10 p.m., so I'm not a very good nighttime study person. But tomorrow morning, my first class is at 11:30, which means I will have all morning to study and get whatever I need to get done. I've never had a blackboard or I've never taken an exam at home before and being proctored through Zoom, so that's going to be interesting. Then I'm also thinking when we retransition to in-person classes, it's going to be so weird, because at this point we're going to be so used to online learning. And I am up. It is 5:30, maybe closer to 6 at this point, and I have, I think, a good 4-5 hours to study freely before my class starts and then the exam. I'm down to the wire, guys. So I'm about to start histology class soon, and then after histology we have about an hour and a half break for lunch, and I'm going to use that to review all of my notes. I don't know how many pages, but I'd say close to 10. Review them, that'll be my last review, and then we start our exam, and our exam is NBME style, so that means like step 1 style questions, which I think is great that they start us off like practicing just like we would for our step 1. Instead of just, babying us. It's a hard introduction, but might as well just dive right in. So I'm kind of nervous, but at the same time, I feel like I just need to, calm myself down, and it'll all be fine. I am officially finished. I just took my very first exam in medical school, biochemistry and genetics. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't feel too bad. I think I studied. I mean, of course, I could have studied always a little bit more, but we won't get our grades maybe for another few hours or maybe even tomorrow, so we'll see how it goes. But now I have a meeting with my histology professor, then I have to meet with my team to prepare a histology slide, and I have to do all of the pre-work for both histology and biochemistry by tomorrow, and I have to start studying for my histology exam, which I plan on taking on Sunday. So I get a little breather, but not really. Alright guys, it's about an hour after our exam and they already calculated our grades. Good news, I passed, and that's all that matters. Thankfully, numbers don't matter, percentages don't matter. As long as it's passing, it's passing. We don't get like a specific grade on our transcript or anything like that, just a pass. So, could I have done better? Of course. Am I going to try and do better next time? I will, by doing practice questions and making sure I have more time to study ahead of time. But I'm happy I passed, and now I can kind of focus my attention on the next thing that needs to be done. Hey guys, I'm going to wrap up the week here. I passed my biochemistry exam, and now I'm going to study on Saturday for my histology exam, which I plan to take hopefully on Sunday, and then play catch up because I was studying for biochemistry. I've basically not been learning any of the new content or doing like the pre-work for it. So yeah, I'm majorly behind, and also we start a new class next week. So in addition to biochemistry and histology, we start yet another class. But stay tuned. I will catch up with you guys next week.